Okay, we are good to go. It's the top of the hour. The live stream is working in the group, the Wake Up Real Estate group. If you're in there watching, do me a huge favor, hit the thumbs up. Maybe even drop a little emoji in a comment or something like that. And get ready to take some notes and take action as well. Our special guest today for our mastermind is Scott Pierce with Listings to Leads. We were hoping to have Scott on 2 weeks ago, but he was sick that day. And so we did have some Listings to Leads talk. We dug into it a little bit, and Carrie Thompson was kind enough to share how she's using it. And we had a great session regardless, but I wanted to get Scott on so he could share directly a couple of different ways or strategies for using Listings to Leads to create more listing opportunities and maybe even a new listing a week with the platform. Before Scott digs in, just a couple of housekeeping items. Number one, the past sessions of these masterminds, you can find them in the group, A, or B, you can find them at wakeup.realestate. Number two, the different resources, tech, software, etc., that I'm using and that many of the guests that we are having on here are sharing best practices, etc. You can find that at growwithjosh.com/tech. growwithjosh.com/tech. And one of the links on there would be a 30-day free trial to Listings to Leads. And Scott let everybody in the Zoom room know that that's better than your average Listings to Leads trial. You get an extra few days, 9 days actually, by using my link at growwithjosh.com/list. I'm sorry, growwithjosh.com/L2L. growwithjosh.com/L2L. So, Scott, I had in my notes that, and I'm sure we'll get into more than this, but in particular, I had using the platform to wow for sale by owners and expireds, using it for whatever reason, the balloons. You throw up the peace sign and the balloons go flying in the Zoom background. I don't know what that is. Using it for FSBOs and expireds, using it with pending or just sold.
Yep.
And then talking a little bit about some of the buyer representation marketing and materials that you guys are working on as well. And again, one of the reasons why I have been using and recommending Listings to Leads for so long is it is one of the best values that exists for us in this industry. There are no lack of companies and people trying to get into our wallet as real estate agents. This is one that is definitely worthy of your investment. And so anyway, let's go ahead and dig in, Scott. And I'm going to monitor, I'll monitor the chat. I'm going to monitor in the Zoom room and monitor the chat in our live stream as well. And I may interrupt you if it's timely. And if not, we'll do Q&A at the end.
Awesome. Yeah. And as Josh said, if you want to get an account with Listings to the Leads, get his affiliate link because it's a 30-day versus our normal affiliate link, which is only 21 days. Well, still great. And versus our website at 14. So with Josh's affiliate link, you'll get more than double our normal, and you'll get 9 days more than any other affiliate link. So get with Josh if you need to. At Listings to Leads, when you log in, you're going to be on the dashboard now. And as Josh was talking about, we've got so many ways to generate leads from listings, yours or borrowed, the pendings and solds, which I will talk a little bit more about as well, because those are really the best cost per seller lead and for the quality. So marketing pending and solds is really critical. And as you scroll down the dashboard here, which is customizable, but you'll see everything is in the order that we recommend. So the listings were on top, pending and solds are right here. A new segment in Listings to Leads are database emails, or these new marketing packs that we're doing based on current events and current news. So the pending home sales report came out. We did an email blast and a bunch of social media stuff. The Case Schiller report came out. We did an email blast summary, and we did a social media pack drop as well for that. So that's the database emails. We got unlimited seller landing pages, including FSBOs and expireds. And I tell you, the FSBO expired module within Listings to Leads now is absolutely tremendous. And I'll cover that in a little bit. 40 plus PDF guides for sellers, buyers, and a lot more stuff right there. Let's talk about expireds first, right? Because I think there's going to be a lot of expireds coming up, and there might be a lot of expireds in your area. And with listings to leads, you get unlimited expired landing pages and marketing funnels, so that for every area that you've got, so different sales areas. So like, for example, where I live, we got Sacramento. I might have a landing page for that. And then I could create another one for El Dorado County. I could create another one for Roseville. So you get the idea of all of these landing pages that you're going to see, whether it's expired or FSBO or home value. You can create unlimited numbers of them. So you got enough for every sales area. And so for the expired, for example, and this is a little bit of a similar flow for a lot of this stuff. We got the landing pages, and actually notice that domain, appleton.expiredsoldfast.com. Josh, if you had Roseville, for example, as a sales area, that could be roseville.expiredsoldfast.com, which gives you a lot more credibility with these people as you're marketing to them, because it's going to really help set you up as an expert in this area. And so, for example, this landing page here, what we're letting the expired homeowner do is just put down why they think their home didn't sell. They can get a free review here. And then you've got in listings to leads. So if I go to landing pages.
While Scott's doing that, let us know in the comments, are you seeing an increase in expireds? We definitely saw a huge jump over the last 30 days. Huge. So let us know, yes or no, increase in your market.
So Josh, give me a sales area near you.
Mechanicsburg.
Oh my God. Can you give me a small one?
Oh, it's Carlisle, Carlisle.
All right. Fair enough. All right. Carlisle. Thank you for that.
You bet.
It's funny. I know the city you're saying, and I have it in my mind of how I think it would probably be spelled, but I wasn't sure.
All good.
We just created a landing page, right? And if I click on view, here's the landing page ready to go. All right. We got all the marketing tools. So I got my Facebook ad. I got Google ads. Right. Oh, I'm sorry. I did avoid. Did I do? Oh, I did avoid foreclosures.
You did avoid foreclosures. I didn't know. Yeah. Sorry.
I'll tell you, this is another super popular one right now. And that's actually why I think I had it up, because avoid foreclosure is one that is getting really a lot more usage now and throughout the system. Because again, similar to expired, you're starting to see more people that are having an issue making the mortgage payment and everything like that. So similar to this, whether the expired or FSBO, they all work in a similar way. You create the landing page in just a few seconds by selecting the type you want, putting in the location name, and then boom, everything is created, all customizable. So I got the edit section here, and you can customize all the stuff, but the marketing tools are also ready. So here we go with the Facebook and Instagram ad. And as you can see, I could create a landing page and get a Facebook ad out. All I got to do here is type in the location, and I'm going to put in different locations because my brain isn't working so well. I don't want to try to remember how to spell Carlisle, but you just drop in the location. We've got everything set up. We got the entire Facebook API in here. All of this is editable. I can retarget if I've got my custom audiences there, and then create ad. So that was just a real simple showing of how fast and easy it is to create and get stuff launched. And as you can see here, as I work my way down, we got Google ads. I got the social media post. I got an e-flyer for this to send out to my database. I got postcards and door hangers all ready to go. All right. So postcards, and again, editable. Let me come back to the landing pages. And yeah, let me show you the expired, because that one I think is going to be very popular. So if I go again, create landing page, type, and expired, and again, Carlisle, close enough. Create landing page. I always tell people, I'm not going to sit here and start correcting my spelling live on a webinar. Just make sure you do it when you're marketing.
You want to spell check it for yourself.
So here's that expired landing page, right? Did not sell your Carlisle home. As an expert in real estate marketing, I'd like to offer you a free review. And so again, if I come back in here, you're going to see there's my Facebook and Instagram ad. There's my Google ad. And so here's what's so beautiful about this. Once you've done this for an area and you want to replicate your success and go after other areas, you can see how ridiculously easy this is to just say, you know what? I got the Carlisle funnel going. I got some engagement happening here. I want to launch another one for another area. And you can see that now it's super, super fast. And so we got the ads, the post. For a lot of things, we're doing video scripts for you. So we'll prepare a video script. And I've assaulted Josh with a few of these scripts, different things that we've got, and he's been awesome to check them out. But check this out. So we're not just giving you ads and e-flyers and different things like that. We're literally giving you video scripts. We've got scripts. So when you call into the expired homeowner and you're not sure exactly what you're going to say, we got a script here for you as well. So again, just that entire marketing suite for you to get marketing fast. Now, the cool thing about expireds is when you touch base with an expired, or maybe there's an expired in your area that you just want to get, right? It's a great listing. It's in a perfect location. You may have looked at the marketing and realized, you know what, the marketing wasn't that great. You can add, check this out. If I click add listing in manual, notice I've got in the status here, I've got expired down here on the bottom. I've got something called FSBO draft, which is really powerful. I'll get to that in a minute. I got for sale by owner. And then I've also got a status here called listing presentation. But when I add a listing in any one of those, you're going to get the ability to add in the homeowner's name. So you can see here, name, email, phone number. And when I add in that expired home into my account, I'm going to get, let me close down a couple of these tabs. I'm going to get a 27 page PDF right here. So right here on my screen, this is that expired home. This is not a sample photo of some random person's home that nobody knows. This is that homeowner's home. And you can see here, prepared for the homeowner, and that's their address.
Yep.
And what is
you want to put their name in it? If you know their name, put it in it, because it makes it, it's like it's like you personally prepared this for them.
Oh, and wait till I'm gonna get so much better. Every single example, first of all, it looks gorgeous, right? It looks beautiful, very professional. And then every item in 26 pages has their photo. So we're showing them an example of a Facebook ad. Boom, there's their house. Social media post, their house. YouTube, their house. And if you go all the way down to page 15, and this is true with the FSBO version as well as the standard listing presentation version, right here on page 15, when the homeowner scans that QR code, and anyone here, if you can scan it through your computer, but I'll show you, that's what you get when you scan the QR code. They're looking at their home right on their phone. And it literally took you maybe 5 minutes to put all this together. And literally adding that listing, you're not adding a listing description. You're not adding in bedrooms and a million different things. It's literally just a street address, upload a photo, whether you do it from Google Street View or you drive by and take a photo. And it will probably take you as long for that PDF to get created as it would for you to even add it in the first place, which is about 1 minute. And
hey, Scott, I want to take this from the clouds to the dirt real quick. So this is theoretical. Here's how I have used this exact presentation recently. And I'm gonna tie in the different tech that I've been talking about over the last few weeks. So for data, and this is part of how I know expireds are up in my market, we're using My Plus Leads for FSBO and expired data. You can get a free trial with them as well. It's one of the resources mentioned on the doc at growwithjosh.com/tech. Okay. So we automatically import that data into the CRM that we talked about a few weeks ago. And we have Smarty coming back in 2 weeks to specifically talk about FSBO and expired marketing. So we port them in, and then we have automation that follows up and reaches out to those expired and or FSBO. While I was in Florida with my son for a baseball tournament 2 weeks ago, one of the expireds replied and said, "Hey, call me this afternoon." I call him this afternoon. He says, "Listen, I love how aggressive all the marketing is. He told me the life story, what he didn't like about the past agent, etc. We set a follow-up Zoom, and it ended up being probably 2 weeks later. His schedule was busy. I was in Florida, whatever. And on that follow-up Zoom, a major part of my presentation was around this right here, because he'd already told me the agent that I was working with before wasn't aggressive enough marketing-wise. So I was able to customize that. I sent it to him a few minutes before. We spent a lot of time on the Zoom about it. It helped me. He's going to list late January, early February, and this was a huge reason as to why he's going to work with me versus going back to who he had been working with before or someone else. Sorry,
Yeah.
I wanted to take that from the big picture to the actual, here's how to do that.
Yeah, you're not going to get, I talk to people from different companies. Yeah, I got my 10-page presentation. I got my 8-page presentation, and it doesn't get much better than this right here.
Yep.
And look at this. It's gorgeous. It's comprehensive. And this is a really good tool. If you're new to Listings to Leads, going through this yourself as an agent will actually, you'll get a nice little grip on Listings to Leads as well. I got people all the time. They're like, yeah, I printed up that listing presentation. I didn't realize you had X or whatever it was that they didn't know about. So yeah, this is, and again, whether you're using a standard listing presentation, so we got this for the standard listing presentation where you can add the home, the FSBO, or the expired like we're looking at here. It's when they scan that QR code and they're literally looking at their home on their phone that 90% of the time you could get them to sign the listing agreement right there, most likely. All right.
Yep.
So having this, it's not just drop this off on their table and walk away. Go through it. Like I said, when you get to this part right here, page 14 or 15, ask them to scan that QR code and watch the reaction. Watch the eyes, right? Watch their eyes when it comes up on their phone. They're going to be so impressed. In fact, they're going to be probably more impressed than you are with this. And again, I've had so many people tell me I was able to get the listing agreement signed once they scanned that QR code.
I dropped the ball. I didn't have him actually do that. I would absolutely make sure that I make it more interactive moving forward.
Yeah, definitely. Because it's just an activity. And then they see it on their phone. I mean, they're looking at their actual home on their phone. And I tell you, it's not just looking at their home on the phone.
I mean, it was hard to see what you showed, but what I could see, that was sharp looking. That is great.
That looks great. And as you scroll down, look at this. Just like on the single property website, right? They got all this stuff in there, the print flyers, the map, the walk score, and they can see. And here's the kicker is I can start right now. I can flip a switch in about 5 seconds. And I can start marketing your home. I've got everything ready to go. Now, obviously you're going to want to get the photos and all that stuff, but just the idea that you're ready to go and you're showing them something to drive that point home. So anyways, FSBO expired listing presentations. That's awesome. On the listing dashboard right here. In fact, let me show you something here, because for a lot of people, you're sitting there and you're going, what should I do today? You wake up and you're like, I don't know what to do to generate some business. We've got a marketing calendar, and you may not be able to do every single thing every single day, but in our mind, having been doing this for 14 years, this is this is what we recommend that you do. Market a listing every week, yours are borrowed. That's the best way to get your database filled up. There's always low hanging fruit hanging out. Some of those people are going to have to sell their home as well. And it just makes you a better marketer. And it's going to make you more confident when you are in a listing presentation that you know what you're talking about regarding marketing their home. So every single week, yours or borrowed, market a listing. And here's the one thing though, that I would do every single week if I could only do one thing. And to Josh's kind of point a little bit earlier, marketing pending or sold listings, again, yours or borrowed, is the best way to generate listings at the best cost per lead. And so when you click on these, on any one of these, you're going to see we got a checklist for most of them. So here's a checklist I can download. It'll have where I can mark off and make sure I get things done. Sometimes, even though we're in online marketing, to have that piece of paper, even though it sounds anachronistic, is still very helpful.
Yeah.
You got a video and text step-by-step guide right here. And then when I click on market listings, and I'm telling you, even if you don't have a pending or sold listing in the mastermind group, if you search for the number one thing, you're going to find the training on how to borrow a pending or sold listing. And
Hold on, Scott, say that again. Go to the listings to leads mastermind group and search for.
Yeah. If you go
to the thing.
Yep. If you go to the mastermind group, so here's a mastermind group, and in the search bar, the number one thing, and you can probably do sold and pending, but because I got right here, what's the number one thing I would do every week? And that is market a pending or sold listing. In fact, I'll just put this in the chat so that everyone on this call has direct access to this, because I look at the numbers every week. I look at the numbers, and the average cost per lead for a pending or sold Facebook ad is going to be around $8 to $12, depending on where you're at. Hopefully it'll get cheaper now that the darn election's over with, right? Oh my God.
Yes,
the election was killing all of us because the cost per leads was ridiculous. Everyone was focused on the election, so that was nuts. So hopefully things are going to start easing back out again. Oh my God, that was just ridiculous. But check this out, pending or sold. Now, if you got a pending or sold, you're gold, you're good to go. But let me just show you, if you didn't have one, what it would look like to borrow a pending or sold listing. So I'm going to click market listing. And the first thing you're going to notice is I don't have the street address. So it's another home on. So instead of saying 786 Douglas, it's another home on Douglas Boulevard. The photo I'm going to use is not the listing photos, obviously. We would never do that. I just took a photo of the street like you can see here. So hopefully you can see this.
Now, this is if you're borrowing one. Like I actually have to do this. I had one go pending yesterday, and I haven't done I haven't even started that yet. So this is incredibly timely for me because, and it's funny. It's the second one I've had go pending in the same town in 2 weeks or
nice.
3 weeks maybe.
And I'm telling you, pending is better than sold. Typically pending is a little bit cheaper. And Josh, I'm telling you, get your yard sign taken care of. And I'm going to show you I'll show you what I'm talking about here in a minute, because your yard sign during pending, if you put, and I got right here somewhere, let me see here. Put this on the top of your yard sign. Make sure you got the text for more information. In fact, Josh, let me show you something here. I'll show you something in a second for your yard sign. But so this is my ad for a pending listing that's not even mine. Another home on Douglas Boulevard in Granite Bay has sold, or I'm sorry, this is has sold. Your home value has been affected. So again, right, to do an ad like this, you just click create ad, because we got everything all done. Again, we bring in the Facebook API. We've been doing this for so long. We got all the settings set up to maximize and get to the right people. A lot of edits, a lot of advanced options that you have. But these leads, every one of them will have name, email, phone number, and selling time frame. And the cool thing about pending, even if it's not yours, being the messenger is where you get the credit, right? So even though you're not the listing agent, I'm telling you, and maybe you're the selling agent. In fact, I had a client or an agent the other week. She was saying she was the selling agent, so it's her buyer. And so she started doing the pending marketing, even though it was her buyer, and she got a listing from it as the selling agent.
Yeah.
Right. So don't try to think a little bit outside the box, but check this out. So I'm not using the street address. I'm not using a listing photo. I'm not using the listing description. And when people click the ad, what's your time frame to sell? This is all automated. So name, email, phone number, and they get taken to the single property website automatically. But here's the deal. And here's why I cannot stress why this is the number one thing that you want to do every single week, because keeping those conversations with homeowners going is absolutely critical. You do not want to be, a part-time agent or a random agent or an inconsistent agent, because it sets those conversations back. It sets your visibility back, because you're just not even around anymore. And so the problem is we don't know when people are actually going to start looking to buy or sell. So we need to be around all the time, right? And I will say, and this is also watching the numbers, leads get cheaper and typically better the more consistent and the longer you run ads for. So again, if you're brand new to Facebook and you're inconsistent, you're going to see probably your lead cost per lead is not going to be that great. The lead quality may not be that great because Facebook doesn't know who to show your stuff to because you're all over the place. But when you're consistent and the longer you go with it, your leads will get cheaper and your leads will actually get better because Facebook will start learning who is it that's clicking and who is engaging, and they can start building up that profile and they can start showing your ads to better and better people. Inconsistency kills you in so many ways that you don't even realize.
So a couple of points I want to double tap on real quick. Actually, a question and a point. Jack asked, why are we talking about pending listings? And then Greg, advert forces us to, I think you're saying the Facebook ad platform forces the radius. How do you target down? So two things with that. You can build and create custom audiences. So you could get all the expireds in your area and upload that as a custom audience. Or the other wonderful thing about listings to leads is you can build custom audiences as you are running ads with the platform. And that mandate of the radius has been around for years and years. It just doesn't matter. If you use the right language, if you use the town and the algorithm figures out who to show the ad to. So even though you can't specifically say, I only want homeowners in Mechanicsburg to see this ad, the algorithm figures it out. And it's another reason why you should do it consistently, because the more consistently you do it, you're feeding the algorithm the right information and you'll get better leads, better, more qualified clients and opportunities.
Yeah, I know. I always tell people, just figure out your sustainable budget for this, for the ads. I mean, for all of it, obviously, but for the ads, don't try to go $300 one week, nothing the next week, because you're broke, right? Because you spent all your money, in week one. Start with $35 a week. That's the standard budget for a listing that's for sale. So if you've got a listing that's for sale, or you're going to borrow a listing that's for sale, we do a $35 ad for 1 week. And again, I got clients that do $200, but the standard default is $35 every single week. Just do that until you can afford to do a second ad on top of that. And then later on, there are people that have 5 or 6 ads at a time going that are spending $500 to $600 a week, but they didn't start off that way, right? They start off small and then they work their way up. So anyways, and why are we talking about pending and sold listings? Because that is really the best way to get more listings. And here's the other thing. Marketing pending and sold, even if it's not yours, it's like what we call success marketing.
Yeah.
Because why do people hire you? They don't hire you to market the home. They hire you to get it sold. So when I can say, here's another home pending, here's another home sold, that attracts homeowners because they're going to say, they might have a question about how much did it go into contract for? How long did it take? Were there any problems? How did you get it sold? If I'm not even talking about that, conversation will never happen. You see what I'm saying? So if I'm not out there talking about listings that are pending and sold, I'm missing out on this conversation. So it doesn't have to be yours. So again, here's the ad. We got the post. Now here's the nearby homeowner letter. This right here. And in fact, Josh, to your point real quickly, just to jump around, when Josh was talking about custom audiences, My Plus Leads, right? Expired, FSBO, likely to move, build a geo farm. My Plus Leads has a lot of great data. And it's actually one of the programs I recommend as well. I don't have an affiliate link or anything with them. I assume, Josh, you might, but I highly recommend My Plus Lead.
growwithjosh.com/My Plus Leads. It's also in the doc.
Hey, Scott, I have a question, if you don't mind.
Yeah, no, for sure.
I have
please.
a list of 500 motivated sellers and my zip codes where I live around it. And so is there a way to target those people using the system?
No, not really. Just because, for example, a custom audience, you need a bare minimum of 1,000. And we don't let people, you can't upload contacts into our system right now. So we don't, but what you can't, no, are they motivated sellers?
Yes.
So let me contradict you a little bit, Scott. You can actually, custom audience will work. I've had results on custom audiences as small as 50. Okay.
Really?
And the way that you can target them is using some of the other resources in here, right? So even though you can't necessarily directly import them into the Listings to Leads platform, there are ways you can use the platform.
Yes.
There are resources in here that you can utilize with those people. For example, some of the PDF guides, right? The dangers of overpricing your home, or 12 mistakes to avoid when selling, things of that nature. There are lots of other ways that you can utilize some of the resources in here with that audience, depending on what data you have for them. Do you have email? Do you have phone, et cetera? And
Right,
David,
I
that's
know.
where you would want to use, if you're using the Smarty CRM or even in KV Core, you can marry those things together to get the
So
hand.
it would be better to just send things to them individually, utilizing, because you're not going to be able to put anything inside this system as far as
Here's what I would do. I would upload them into your CRM, and you don't have to even treat them differently in one sense of when you're doing the standard pending and sold marketing, for example, right? You're going to obviously hit them because they're in your CRM and they're tagged as a seller lead. So all of this, they will see more and more of this marketing over time, right? Because you got the email for the database, which you will get to them, right? We got and I tell you, our e-flyers. In fact, I'm gonna be doing a video on our e-flyers because I get so many e-flyers from agents. Josh, I get your e-flyers as well. And none of them are as good as our e-flyers, right? You can do multiple listings on one, but the single listing e-flyers, right, at every status, this goes right to the single property website, which will convert way better than your IDX any day of the week. I won't get into it too much here, but notice on my pendings and my solds, I change the language to reflect the fact that I know it's going to be mostly homeowners that see this. So I changed the property description from focusing on buyers to focusing on homeowners that might be thinking about selling their home. So I'm going to drop this link into the Zoom chat as well for those of you that want to take a look at this. And I do this for my pendings and my solds. And so
I'm sorry, Scott, I was trying to monitor a couple of different things. Where is this happening? Like, where are you making that?
Yeah, this is just my single property website for a pending listing.
So after it goes pending, you go in and add the description so it's speaking more to potential sellers and obviously not buyers anymore because it's already it's taken.
And do you use a Facebook ad to deploy this?
Yeah, I'll use all of it, right? I got the Facebook ad, right? I just worked my way down the marketing list. So I got Facebook ads right here, and you can see, right, here's the ad. This is
directly
editable.
to them.
I'm sorry?
Do you send anything directly to them through email or text?
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah. So I got an email. So here's the e-flyer for your database. I got a database call script. So I recommend, and I always tell people, email is the grease and a phone call is the arrow. All right. Now I know it's like mixing metaphors here a little bit. Standard follow-up email, all right, that goes out, who cares, whatever. But when you send out one of these e-flyers to your database related to a specific topic, so in this case, related to the fact that another home went pending in Folsom, I send out the email to all of my seller leads because this is a seller lead communication, right? Another home just sold. Buyers aren't really going to care much about that. But when I send the email out, now here's for your list of 500 motivated seller leads. What I would do, I would divide that list up maybe into either groups of 30 or 60, depending on how aggressive you're feeling. And every time I send out an email, I will call 5 to 10 of those people on that list with the script related to that email. Because now, so you send out the e-flyer to your seller leads, and then you call up 5 or 10. It's just, hey, Josh, this is Scott. And I sent an email related to the fact that another home in Maple Drive just went pending. I just want to make sure you got that email and see if you have any questions about that. It's not a sales email or a sales call, and it's not even, these are motivated sellers. So you're just trying to stay in touch with them, right? You're trying to get them to know that you exist and that you're not going to disappear in 30 days.
Yeah.
So I would say but how do I say this? I would email all of my seller leads, but like I said, keep that 500 list as I'm going to try to call through that list like every 90 days, maybe, right? Because these are motivated people. Does that make sense? Does that seem appropriate?
Yeah. I guess what I'm trying to figure out is the email deliverability from KV Core. I guess I need to get my own domain. Is that going to help the deliverability, Josh, you think?
We're getting way into the weeds, David. I'm happy to have that conversation with you outside of this, but you should, for that purposes, it would make sense for the Smarty CRM.
Okay.
And we can help. I'm happy. We can have that conversation, but
yeah, sending out cold emails to a list that didn't opt in can be difficult.
Yes.
But yeah, thank you, Josh. I appreciate that. All right.
Absolutely.
let me show everybody something if you don't mind, because we just went live with these new marketing packs. And so you'll see these in the system. And so we're now dropping Instagram Reel video files, swipe files. So Instagram, TikTok, you'll see on TikTok here. I'll turn down too early in the morning for that kind of music, right? So we're dropping these great little videos here into the system, and we're going to be doing these for the PDF guides as well. And these are not meant to replace you doing your video, right? Like I'm sure you all follow Josh on social media, right? And you see how he does his videos. This is not to replace that. It's just meant to be a nice little supplement to add a little bit of.
You don't feel like being on camera. You don't feel like getting yourself all cleaned up for the day. Just grab something that's easy, plug and play like this.
Yeah. And this is all in the media library now. And you can see here, I got that on YouTube. I got it on Facebook. We have an email blast related to this as well. So there's a lot of great database and social media tools in these marketing packs. And so I will also drop that into the Zoom chat for everybody. You might want to take a look at that a little bit later. And then, oh, you know what, Josh? So Josh asked about the buyer. I think, Josh, you were mentioning the buyer representation.
I had that on our list of things that when we talked about having you on, of things just to make people aware of. And we wanted to focus more on how can we use the platform to get more listing opportunities first and foremost. But in our conversation, you mentioned some of the things that you're working on to help with, you know, what we're all working through as of August 17th.
Right. So I'm going to get to that. So let me end on the marketing, or let me finish off with the marketing calendar here. So again, regarding listings, again, every Monday or every week, market a listing years are borrowed. You're going to fill up your database, get a lot of people to talk to. There are seller leads in there. Every Tuesday, right? Or every week also, market the pending or sold. That's the best. And then our marketing calendar, you're going to see on Wednesdays, we talk about the guides that Josh mentioned a little bit earlier, and we rotate between buyer and seller guides. These are phenomenal as well. And then Thursdays are targeted seller offers. So you'll see we do the iBuyer cash offer one week. Then the next week was the home value. The next week was FSBO. The next week is a 100-point home marketing plan. These are all very specific, targeted for sellers. And FSBO is actually, we're going to be replacing that with cash offer very shortly. So again, you can go to our marketing calendar and see very quickly, what are the opportunities to generate seller leads? And again, you'll see it right here, seller leads, get more listings. So go to the marketing calendar to find some of the actions that you can take to generate seller leads. Now, on the listing dashboard, we have currently the listing presentation module, and we are coming out with, and I apologize, it's not live yet. I was hoping it was going to be live earlier, but we're working on a lot of stuff, including the AI text follow-up, which I don't talk enough about. But so we're coming out with a buyer presentation package similar to the listing presentation. It's all done. It's just being finished up inside the system so we can make it live ASAP. But similar to this listing presentation, the buyer rep will have a PDF guide. It's gorgeous, and it talks about your value, what you do for the buyers, similar to what we have for the homeowners and how you're going to sell their home. So we looked at that expired presentation. There's one for buyers coming out as well. And you're going to have ads just like this one here, like we do for the listing presentation, right? For the homeowners, it's get top dollar for your home with our 100-point home marketing plan. Boom, boom, right? Again, this is always, everything here is editable. We got the Google ads, right? So similar to what we saw with the listings and the guides and the landing pages, we're going to have a entire module set up ready for you to launch so that you can show the buyers your value. And I think it'll be a lot easier for you to get these buyers to agree to work with you, if that makes sense, right? Because again, it's all about professionalism. It was so easy in the past to slide in with a buyer by being the first one to show them a listing, right? That was a great way for a new agent to get into the business. But the professionalism that you're going to have now to be even a buyer's agent, and I think that new module, as soon as that thing gets live, will make that whole conversation and that whole activity a lot easier for people.
Yep.
Yeah.
Anything you can have like that to demonstrate it besides you having to personally communicate it, when you can demonstrate with a PDF or a slide deck or whatever, it just, it legitimizes it in the eyes of
Yeah.
the consumer.
We all know, right? When somebody says, what does a buyer's agent do? It's where the hell do I start?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, and if you don't have a beautiful, perfect 30-second response to that, it can get overwhelming to even respond to that. By being able to have a PDF guide where they can sit and really go through it and understand what you bring to the table and all the stuff they didn't even think about. That's why, man, I'm telling you, this whole thing was just an absolute disaster, I think, for the real estate industry and for buyers.
I think obstacle equals opportunity, though.
It
I
does.
think there's certainly an opportunity. And here's one way I envision using this. And this is just like a simple thing, but I'm going to include when I send for e-signing my buyer representation mandated by our broker. I'm going to include that as a
Yeah.
doc. Not that they have to sign off, but it's going to be, it'll go out in that digital signing envelope so that,
Yep.
and I'll have already probably presented it to them, but just another reminder of, hey, here's all the stuff that we're doing for you to earn this commission.
Yeah, and I definitely think it's good because there were way too many agents. Again, like I said, it was, and the buyers had no idea. They just assume that's how it works. They meet some random person somewhere, and all of a sudden they're out looking at homes, and they didn't vet this buyer's agent. They don't know really who they are. They just happen to be the first person they talk to. So I do agree. This will, I think, bring up the professionalism for most people. So, anyways, it's like anything good, there's always a lot of pain in the beginning.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. So let me ask, because I got to leave here in about 5 minutes, but are there
Yep.
any questions from anybody or something maybe I didn't cover or was confusing with?
Yeah. Any questions for Scott before he has to go? And then I have to wrap at the top of the hour. So even if Scott has to go in a few minutes, but I'm happy to stay on for questions or comments. One of the things that this is just sometimes the most obvious things to me are I'm oblivious to, but essentially listings to leads is your checklist, right? Like it's when you have a new listing, it goes in there and you've got a checklist of activities. Do you have to do every last thing on that little sidebar there? Of course not. But it means that you could go systematically through. Yes, I'm going to do this. Yes, I'm going to do that. No, I'm not going to do that. Yep. And then it goes pending. And it's the same thing. Okay, what am I going to do now that I've got this result here to turn it into more results? And now it just went closed. Okay, now I can do this and this. And so it's a beautiful, it's a resource to make all of that easier for you. And something that comes up for me with that, I just recently taped, I can't show you because it's on my laptop, but I taped on my laptop a sticky note that says multiply results. And Scott emphasizing like a little bit each week in the same direction, right? That's multiplying results, and it will compound greater than if you just are distracted and doing all this, doing this here, that here, whatever. But you're taking a result, even if it wasn't your result, you're taking a result and multiplying it. You're turning it into more opportunities for yourself.
Yeah. Hey, let me leave on this right here to what Josh just said. Lead compounding. If you just generate, and I'm going to get my people to do a much better job. I just came up with this in Excel. But if you just generate 20 buyer leads and 10 seller leads a week, that may seem like a lot to some of you. That is nothing. You can do that in 3 days with listings to leads without even trying. You got to try. You get my point.
Yeah.
But look at this. That's week 1, 20 and 10. If you did that every single week, not only will your leads get cheaper, not only will your leads get better, not only will you be a better marketing agent, not only will you be better in everything that you do, you're going to have 240 buyer leads, 120 seller leads. And even if half of those are no good, you're going to start getting transactions. All right.
Yep.
With that, and that's only 3 months, but it's about being consistent. All right. It's about not taking time off, not crying and whining because I got a bad lead and now this sucks. I'm never going to do it again. And the world is awful. That it's just business. All right. You're going to get bad leads. You're going to get people to tell you to get lost.
Pound sand. Yep.
Yeah. And so don't fold. Just keep going. So with that, anyways. All right, Josh, I got to run, buddy.
Yeah. But Scott has to run, but I'm going to hang on here because I've got at least one question in the comments that I'll address, and I want to do some housekeeping at the end here as well. Scott, thank you so much for coming on. So grateful for the time and the demonstration today. Everybody you can get a free trial at growwithjosh.com/L2L. But for those that can hang on, there's some great questions here that I will dig into. So Scott, have a great rest of your day and week. Appreciate all you do. And
all right, guys, and everybody
right
on the call with us, thank you so much. If you have any questions for me, you can get a hold of me on Facebook or get with our support team if needed, and I'll talk to y'all soon.
Awesome. Thanks, Scott. Jacqueline asks, so the biggest difference between this and KB Core. So it's a little bit apples and oranges. KB Core is a full CRM. Listings to Lead is more a marketing engine. Okay. Yes, you can do some email in the platform and it even, I think there's some upgraded text functionality, but it's not a CRM. Okay. It is an engine you can use to market listings to create more opportunities. But there's also buyer side resources as well, guides, the buyer representation marketing that they're working on, etc. I hope that helps, Jacqueline, and makes sense. Somebody asked about a replay of this. As soon as we're done with the live session in the group, you should be able to go back and watch the replay. We'll then take the recording of the Zoom room and we'll get that added on YouTube and at wakeup.realestate as well. If you can't find it still, just DM me or email me or whatever. I'll make sure that you get the link. Your opinion about the interest rates for 24-25, which direction? Thank you. Good information and presentation. That's way above my pay grade. But people smarter than me seem to think that rates will continue. They came down, then they've creeped back up a little bit. But by all accounts, again, this is not my prediction, but if you go and look at what people a lot smarter than me when it comes to that stuff think, the projections are that they will come down between now and at least summer, maybe even a year from now at this time. Jennifer said, great meeting. Thank you for that. Other questions. Oh, are all the Facebook ads lead ads, Eric? I think so. Actually, no, I don't. I think you can create, I know you can create lead ads, obviously. I believe you can create ads for custom audiences that are other objectives. We use it most for lead ads, but I do believe you can use it for other ad types. For example, you could drive traffic to a landing page, right? So if you want to use, let's say you want to retarget people that have engaged with, I don't know, one of your pending ads, and you want to retarget them to a guide around avoid these 12 mistakes when selling your home, or the 5 dangers of overpricing your home, or one of the guides. I believe you could do that.
So could you push these people, say, to like your iList, your cash offer page, or would you try to retarget them in a different, get the lead in one way and then try to get them a cash offer?
Yeah. What's funny that you say that, because as Scott was sharing, the pending,
Bob will be on at 1 p.m. today. Period.
What I was thinking when he was talking about the Facebook or the lead ad for a pending listing, I don't know, but I'm going to explore this afternoon, and I'll probably record myself doing it. Can I send people after they opt into the lead ad to, for example, my iList home valuation page? I don't know, but I'll explore that. Now, the workaround for that is you could also use listings to leads to get through the harder part of the ad creation and then go into the ads manager after the fact and tweak it in there. So like getting a little technical there, but you can use that to the listings to lead engine to more easily build it. And then you can make specific changes and even choose custom audiences from the actual Facebook ads manager directly. Somebody else was chiming in there. And maybe it was accidental.
I'm sorry. It was me, Joe, Kathleen. I was just going to say, hi, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. You can zap it right into the CRM and then put it on one of Smarty's drips, which automatically sends them to the I page for their home value.
Totally. So there's lots of ways you can do it. It's a matter of how technical do you want to get and how in the weeds do you want to get. Somebody else asked, and maybe it was you, Eric. Did you ask? Who asked about? Yeah, FUB. I think they have a direct integration with FUB. So one thing we didn't get to ask him is there are some direct integrations with listings to leads that would circumvent the need for Zapier. But Zapier is also another great potential option to get data or leads or whatever you need to go this way or that. Drew, rates slightly higher until buying MBS picks up, making their price higher in years. Will government supplement buying mortgage-backed securities like COVID? I sure hope not. Yeah, again, the reality is no one knows for sure. But in the best of times and the worst of times, people are still buying and selling houses, right? Like, I think by all accounts, this year is going to be the lowest transaction count since 1995. And yet we're still all here. And they're going to be in the, what is it? Somewhere in the high 3 million in transaction. So there was always opportunity. It's about finding where it is, when sometimes it's easier than others. That's for sure. Any other questions, comments, thoughts, etc.? I think I got all the comments and all in the chat. Oh, Isabel, good question here. Do you recommend retargeting a list of 130 absentee owners in a neighborhood that my sister recently sold, or is it too small? It's worth trying, right? So here's the point of diminishing returns on smaller audiences like that is like, how much time are you going to spend on that? And I wouldn't simply run a retargeting ad to them. Meaning, if you've got this list of 130 people and the only thing you're going to do is a retargeting ad on Facebook, probably not worth it. But if that's part of also an email campaign and a text or phone campaign to the ones that aren't on the DNC and a direct mail campaign, that means you're multiplying your results and increasing the likelihood of you connecting with more of those folks, right? And the first time you create something like that will be the hardest time. But once you have and understand how to do that, okay, here's how I upload my custom audience. Here's how I create the ad, etc. So I wouldn't only do that. If you were only going to do one thing, I would do direct communication to them. Meaning, like for a list of 130, you might personally email all the emails that you have for those folks. You might personally call and or text all of the phone numbers that you have for those folks, again, that aren't on the DNC. And you did mail a direct mail piece. Perfect. Hopefully you use thanks.io with the QR code that when they scan, you'll know, because those are the folks that you should invest more time and energy into following up and following through. Okay, next week, we're going to change, or it's going to be a little bit of a different session in that I have an account executive who is going to come and talk to us about a program called Buy Before You Sell. And I asked him to come for a couple of different reasons. Number one, we have actually used that program several times over the last 12 months to address the concern of the client is, yes, I would love to sell, but I don't want to be homeless, right? I want to know that I want to have confidence in where I'm moving to next first. Okay. And so it's an option to address that objection or concern. And we've used it successfully. So just making you aware of that. And also, apparently, we can help you with those. Our mortgage team can help you with those scenarios if you'd like. So he's going to go through that and at least give you some ideas of how you could use that to maybe, when you come across that objection, which still exists, because even though inventory is up in some markets, more so than others. So that's a special guest from the company's called Homelight will be joining us. 2 weeks from today, I'm having Smarty back on to specifically, we're gonna focus more on FSBOs and expireds, okay, and the automation and what we're doing to get those people to raise their hand and want to do business with us. And I think that's all I have scheduled out. I think the next week after that is Thanksgiving week, so we may or may not have a session that week. Check out all of the tech stack and software and resources that I refer to often in these at growwithjosh.com/tech. The My Plus leads free trial is growwithjosh.com/my plus leads, all spelled out. And then the listings to leads trial is growwithjosh.com/L, the number 2L. David, feel free to reach out if you want to chat about that list that you wanted to market to.
All right.
And appreciate you all. Let's make it a great rest of the week. And hopefully see you next week. Same place, same time.